here to introduce our trainer for today. So our trainer today is an amazing woman. She loves to help everyone. I have called and text her at 1 and 2 in the morning, and she's still up. She answers the phone. She is the very first director in the Hampton Roads area. So multiple $1,000 bonuses, multiple $10,000 bonuses. She's earned a $50,000 bonus, and not only that, she's helped 2 other people earn that $50,000 bonus. She knows all the information, so she is the perfect person to help us meet our goals and get to where we want to get to. So take out your notebooks, take out your pen and paper, so you're ready to take notes so you can absorb all this information. And help me welcome to the front, Coach JP Janice.
Doesn't she look beautiful?
Yeah.
Y'all give up for Denise. Guys, she is a rising regional builder here at 365. Not only is she like the best hostess, right, Miss Rose? She is the best hostess. Guys, she's so right. She's so studious, and I will tell you what, the stuff that I miss, everything I miss, she catches it. And she'll send me a little note message like, Coach, So, give it up for Miss Regional Builder, Miss Tanisha. For that day. Y'all think I cut up now? Now let's see. We're gonna do some lights, and we're gonna get rid of that, and we're gonna use the whiteboard. Is that all right?
That's all right.
All right. So let's see. I don't know how to turn that off. What is the button?
What's that? You trying to let it off?
I'm trying to turn it off. But I ain't listening. I ain't trying to say that. So we're just gonna do a quick training, guys. And this training is gonna be called the U.S. Open. Gonna be called the what?
U.S. Open.
Now you're probably trying to figure out, what does the U.S. Open have to do, right, Miss right, Miss Rosa?
Yes.
With Surge 365. What does the U.S. Open have to do with it? So yesterday on Father's Day, because my dad is an avid golfer, we spent time watching golf. Now I've never paid that much attention to it. I know a little bit of stuff, but I never really knew what a birdie was and a bogey and all that good stuff. So yesterday I spent some time what? Learning. Say learning.
Learning.
So one of the things that you're going to have to do, Miss Gloria, is you're going to have to learn what you're doing. And I'm watching, and the reason I want to talk about it is because the young man that won is 35 years old. He's been playing in the majors since he was 20 years old. How many years is that? 15 years he's been a professional, and he won his first major on yesterday. Now, anybody who understands sports understands that even with golf, and golf is very tedious, it's a mind game, it's a big mind game. But one of the things that you will know, even with golf, is that you have to what? Practice. Say practice.
Practice.
You've got to practice what? Over and over and over again. And guys, this was not his first U.S. Open that he won. This was his first ever Grand Slam, or whatever they call it, that he won. In how many years? 15 years. Now, we've got to spend time learning. So the first thing before you can jump out there is you got to know the game. Just like he has to what? Know the game. Interesting enough, as I was listening to the commentators, they talk all the time, but one of the things that they were saying is that he always get close, but then he lets it slide away from him. So they said this past year, let me go back. There's more than one great big golf tournament per year. Y'all know that. They're here, they're in Europe, right? At Pebble Beach yesterday, that's just one big event. What do they call them? What a big golf tournament. That's one tournament of multiple what? Tournaments. So he spent time, Miss Gloria, this last year learning about himself. Write that down. You got to know about you. Like, you've got to know what makes you tick and what will stop your clock.
Yeah.
Because understand something, family, as you're taking this journey on Surge 365, just like this happened to that young man, life is going to happen to you. Dr. Christopher Coakley said your washing machine is going to whisper to your dryer and say, hey, which one of us broke down last? Is it your turn? The refrigerator say, I think it was me, and the dishwasher said, well, I think it's my turn. So as soon as you start to grow your business, life is gonna what? Happen. The car's gonna be parked in the driveway, and the hot water heater's gonna whisper, psst, I think it's your turn. I think they talk to each other, yes or yes. I think they know when we got extra money too. I think they know. Because they be like, oh, she thinks she got an extra 2,000. Oh, we gonna fix that, right? So life is gonna happen. You know, your children are gonna start doing weird things, or they're gonna need help, or they're gonna get in trouble, or they're gonna, you know, that now all of a sudden they need to move because they got a great job, and you gotta help them to do it. You, as a parent, you're not gonna not help them. Right. So life is gonna what? Happen. So one of the things they said, and the young man that won last night, his name was Gary Woodland, and so one of the things that I started doing, you know, Dad is like, what are you doing? I said, I'm Googling him. And Dad's like, what's Google? What's a Google? You know, I said, no. So I'm looking this gentleman up, and as they're talking, I'm looking. One of the things that happened to him is that his wife had a difficult pregnancy. So during the last 3 years, beyond the difficult pregnancy and then having the child, his wife, you know, was recovering, and so was the child. So life was happening while he was trying to learn what he needed to do so that he could win this what? First. How many people quit? Let's just say that they have six of these tournaments a year. 6 times 15 is how much?
30. 70, 0, 33.
40?
90.
90. Thank you. So 90 tournaments in the last 15 years. In between each tournament, he's practicing, he's learning, he's reading. Anybody ever seen an athlete study their own videos? They study other people's videos and stuff. So he's over the last 15 years, this is what he's doing, all to win how many tournaments? One. You have to understand and write this down, that your IQ to succeed must be very low. Your IQ, in order to succeed, must be very low. Now, I'm not talking intelligent quotient. Is that the right thing, Ms. Rooms? Is that right?
Yeah.
Intelligent quotient or something? I'm talking about your I quit level.
Oh, I like that.
Must be very low.
I was like, oh, you gotta be stupid.
Right? Most people's IQ in part-time business is very high. It takes nothing to make them quit. Your IQ threshold has to be one where all of this can happen up here, but your IQ threshold is so low that you don't let it bother you.
That's right.
So how do you do that? Number one, you have to read. I'm going to give you the name of, oh, my phone is recording, but I'm going to give you the name of a couple of books that I want you to get, because we're going to try to get these done by the end of August. One is Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. Stop worrying and start living. Guys, what we do is so simple. Let me tell you, in our last, who was in 5 Links with me? Nobody in here. In our last company, we had to do so much to earn so little. And here, all we really got to do is find what? Three. I was telling them Saturday in our last company, people had to pay Miss Flory $150 to $300 a month to stay qualified just to get a check. And here, the company says you can buy the least expensive product, get 3. I want you to get them in 8 days so I can give you your money back. You'll get back $195 of $199. So that's one book. Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. And then the other book is going to be Try Thinking for a Change. by John Maxwell. Try thinking for a change. Let's try to have that, the first one, by Dale Carnegie, by the end of June.
Who's the author of the second book? I'm sorry.
John Maxwell.
Okay.
I think it has a light bulb on the cover. Try thinking for a change.
Try thinking for a change.
Try thinking for a change. What these books are going to help us to do is not to worry about what?
Right.
And then to be able to put on our thinking caps and get ourselves around what? Life. See, because everything that we do just requires some thought process. So this gentleman studied Tiger Woods. He studied Tiger Woods in his early years. He pulled up the tapes from when Tiger Woods was winning back to back to back years ago. And this last year, he had to relearn how to play golf while he was going through life.
He sure did.
And the interesting thing that he was saying, his wife now is pregnant with twins.
Wow.
But what I loved about this young man, what I loved about it, was even when people were cheering, you know, people cheer you on when they see you're going to win.
Yeah, that's
They weren't cheering down at go, you know, hole number 1 and hole number 2, you know. Now he came in, I saw, I guess it was day 4, he came in with a -13, which I would have thought is not good, but that's apparently good in golf. He came in with under whatever, like that's 13 under par. I think that's what that means. And so you start the day off that way. And it was just interesting to watch the crowd get louder and louder. What I'm saying to you, Miss Gloria, is you're going to go home and you're going to be excited about your business, but I'm going to challenge you just to make a list only and don't talk to anybody yet. See, because everybody's not going to understand your journey.
Right.
Everybody's not going to understand your journey. So we're going to be teaching you, Pastor and First Lady are going to be teaching you what to say. So right now, just make a list of everybody you know. But everybody's not going to cheer you on. And sometimes they don't cheer you on because they don't want you to be someplace they're not.
Right.
See, you then become a reflection of who they could have been, but they decided not to be.
That's right.
So as opposed to pushing you up out of the bucket,
That's right. Crabs.
and so they were saying that what he went through over the last few years was a lot of ridicule because he would get this close every single tournament and somehow he would lose it. But he had to learn to do something we call focus. I kept looking in his face. And it's interesting, he's the only person that walks down the golf course with his hands in his pocket. And he keeps his head down and his eyes are always like he's thinking about what's happening next. He's like, you know what I mean? The crowd is cheering, Gary, go Gary, one day. You know, they get louder as the holes get further along, right? But all of a sudden, while he's on the course, life happened again. While you're building your business, life is going to happen. Somebody's going to leave. Somebody you love. Am I right, Pastor?
That's right.
Somebody you've loved on for years is going to walk away. What happened with him on the 8th, 9th, and 10th hole is they're the hardest holes in Pebble Beach. I learned all this yesterday. I ain't know nothing. And so what amazed me was like the course, he could be the little green thing that with the flag is here, and they got over here, there's water, there's trees, there's all this stuff to get the ball from the tee to here. But there are these courses that we call par 5. And the more difficult the course is, the more difficult it is to get the ball there. The more chances that you will hit the ball into the water, the sand, into where the grass has been cut, all that stuff, right? So Miss Gloria, I watched this young man on 3 different holes hit the ball into a place. One time, wherever he hit it was where the guests were standing. I imagine that's not where it's supposed to be. But you would watch him just be like, you know, he's just like, do this thing, and he had it, and he look, and no smiles, no smiles, straight business. Everybody's like, Gary, you got, and he's just, And then he had his caddy, and I had to look up caddy. I looked up and I asked Siri, I said, is a caddy a coach? And it said, Siri said, yes. I said, is a caddy a coach? And Siri, she pulled it up, and a caddy is somebody who knows the game. May have played the game, so he's not his coach, but he's an advisor. Because I heard the guy say, he said, watch the smoke. The smoke is going a little bit to the right. So whatever, all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
Right. So the caddy was telling him, if you cut it this way, if you take, so the ball went over there where the guests were. Somehow, that was the first ball. Somehow he gets the ball. Let's say he hit it from there, and it was supposed to come this way and land here, so he'd go here. It went that way, which means his second shot was to get it as close here as possible. Somehow this kid, 35, he's about my age, he got the ball. Like 4 years older than he is. He got the ball near the flag 3 times in a row. And the commentators are saying, well, it's about that time in the tournament where he normally lets it slip away.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow. That sounds like family.
Right down Nathan. See, about 6 months from now, Gloria, because you have not made your first million, somebody's going to say, does that really work? You're not a millionaire. Now, 6 months in the game, anybody know any businesses where you make $1 million in 6 months, unless you own McDonald's. Right? But somebody's going to say to you, Valerie, you mean you don't have the car yet? Yeah. My girlfriend said, oh, I thought you were going to have the car at the rental.
Oh, wow.
And so there were people in the audience whispering as well. You could hear them saying things. As a matter of fact, the caddy said, enough of that.
Wow.
And shut the crowd down. So that his guy could focus. See, that's what your upline is, right? That my upline is the caddy. Your upline is there, somebody there to watch you, to hold you, to lift you up, to tell you you can do it, to pat you on the back, to help you grow, to steer you where you may not want to go.
That's right.
Because he thought one time he was going this way, and the guy said, no, the smoke is doing something, blowing that way. You gotta go that way. And we may not always like it. But we've got to understand that the caddies of the golf world are those who are in business to help us get around what? Life, so that we can continue to what? Focus to get to our first grand slam, or whatever they call it, tournament. I don't quite know. What is it, Pastor? What if golf, is it tournament? Tournament. And so this young man, after at least 90 games, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of practice. And you don't practice in groups. You practice all by yourself. Ergo, you got to keep your mind right. Write that down. You got to get your mind right. One of the reasons we're going to read the book Stop Worrying and Start Living is because most of us do what God said not to do. He said if the ant ain't worried, and if is it birds of the
birds of the air.
Yeah, and if they're not worried about what they're gonna eat, why are you? Either you believe or you what? Don't. Bishop Bible said it great on Saturday. You have to believe it until you see it. Because if you don't, you'll never get it. And so hundreds of hours. Let me just break it down to you really quickly. It'll take 10,000 hours to get to about $1 million in Service 365. 10,000 hours. Some people, now we're talking 10,000 hours of, I bought guests to this meeting, 3-way calls, one-on-one presentations, working your business. Not arranging my desk. Arranging my desk don't count. Not being in for 10,000 hours, but 10,000 hours of what? Work. Now the faster we work, the shorter the time frame, but 10,000 hours is about 5 to 7 years of work to get to the top of the complex. So the question is, when you get to the 7th, 8th, and 9th hole, and you hit it into the crowd, you hit it into the sand, they call that a what?
Sand trap.
Sand trap? And then you hit it into the deep grass. That's the grass they haven't cut. That's the grass that's off the green or whatever. Now, the boy was so smooth with it. He would do all the things, and he had a book. The caddy would give him a book. See, sometimes your upline is going to say, read this. Listen to what? That. Right? He had a book. He would open the book, and they said that in the book was supposed to be teaching him what the land was like and what to expect and where it broke and all this kind of stuff, because the ball would never just go straight. It's going to break or whatever that means. This boy took the ball in the green pasture and whatever it means where he was able, they said they act like it was so great and they had it in slow motion. Where it went, the iron that he chose, it went up under the ball. Where normally if you're in deep grass, you're going to hit a divot, right? That's what, when I play, the ants stay on the grass because it's safer than being on the ball because I'm going to miss the ball. So but in his case, he lifted it up, and it was showing in slow motion, right? Going closer to the flag. 3 occasions. So now, the guy that was on his tail has a -10 at the hole 18. See, some people going to get there before you. Some people going to get there after. Grandma used to say this. The race is not given to the swift. Because the guy that everybody knew was going to be the guy that would come out with that trophy on yesterday was at -10. The guy that they thought would be the second guy that would be the guy who win that trophy was at -10. He was holding at -12 going into the 18th hole. And so what would most of us do knowing, man, this is I just got to finish this up. Matter of fact, Pastor, I was thinking, oh, shoot, he ain't got to worry about this one. But then I thought, oh, wait a minute, he still got to get it the ball over there. And so what I watched on his face, Pastor, was focus. He didn't look at the crowd. He didn't look, at who else was down the field, because he's right at the end where I guess you can buy tickets for all the people. People can afford, I guess, to be on the 18th hole, I guess how that is. But all these people, Gary! Never looked up. He pulled his little hat down. He'd get his little book out. Because what he said he understood in his interview was that I could have celebrated too soon. That's right. See, because I still got to hit the ball and get it from down there to somewhere around here to get it to here to get it in the hole. And I understand that a birdie is if you're 1 under par. So par means the number of holes it takes to get the ball in. Your goal is to come in under par. Learned that yesterday. An eagle is 2 under par. A birdie is 1 under par. And if it's a par 5, a bogey means it took me 6 hits. Come on now. In one afternoon. I'm going to watch out. I did this now. They hold their hands different. I still ain't figured that one out tonight. Right? But I watched him with nothing but what? Focus. Nothing but focus. I watched his caddy tell about 20,000 people to shut up. He had some of the naysayers do what? Shut up. Let him think. And he knocked the ball to wherever he knocked it. And then he had to pop it up over a ridge or something. And it got right down here. And that was 2 of 4. And my boy, when he and that's so it was a long distance. Now I wouldn't, I didn't need like 15 more, but it was a long distance, and he teed up again. He ain't looking at nobody but his goal. He ain't what? Looking at nobody but his goal. What is he doing, Miss Lori? He's looking at nobody but his goal. That's it. In your business, you have to be focused on your what? Goal. Because life is going to try to sway you to the left. It's going to try to sway you to the right. Naysayers are going to try to pull you down. You have to understand to stay focused. Your only goal is to get to what? 3. And help your 3 get to what? 3. And then he teed up. Not tee up. He picked up his little coin or whatever that thing is. What is that thing called, Pastor? Whatever that is, right? And he did his little thing, and he moved his little hat. He did his little thing with his mouth. And when he did it, and it went in the cup, he hit his final shot with a birdie. And it was smooth how he did the hand too. But because I guess you swing, and so he brought this hand up, I guess because the arm, or however it does. And then when it went in the cup, my boy said. And then he said he did the tiger thing. How does Tiger do it? Something like that,
Yes.
But guys, my point is, there's no different in his life than yours. Your chosen sport is network marketing. Your chosen team is Surge 365. After that, everything else is the exact same. How bad do you want it? He is one of 5 men over the age of 35 to ever win a major tournament. Everybody else is babies. So you know what the young people were saying? Man, you too old.
Yeah.
Get out of the way and let us do it.
Yeah.
This ain't your sport no more. You understand what I'm saying? But when you want it bad enough, and as Eric Thomas says, as I will close, Eric Thomas says you gotta want it bad enough, more than you want to breathe, or as much as you want to breathe. You can't be not doing something and expect something to actually happen. He had to practice in between these 90 tournaments that he went home in 2nd or 3rd place. 15 years. My question to you is, how bad do you want it? Because that is what separates those who are ordinary and extraordinary. It's just a little bit what? Extra. God bless you guys. Have a great evening. I gotta do the call in 20 minutes, and we'll hear you on. Thank you very much for the time. Tea. Thank you, baby. I'm gonna know all that.
I know.
When I'm rich.
You good though.
Girl, come on now. I know what a bunker is and everything.
That's for sure.